Hello and welcome to Lexitecture, a podcast about word origins and histories. My name is Ryan, and in each episode my friend Amy and I bring a new pair of words to share their stories with each other and you. You can find our past episodes and the occasional blog post on our website at lexitecture.com. Follow along with us on Twitter and Facebook at Lexitecture, and if you really like what we do, you can support the show at patreon.com/lexitecture. Today's episode, Salient Kaleidoscope. Shall we word?
Shall we? Go on, let's.
Okay. Would you like to take it away?
I will. Yeah.
All right.
I started looking for a word. Now, I hate when I have to look for a word.
Right,
What's
yes.
best is when words come to me. I mean, I feel like that's true of almost everything. You know, it's much better when you don't have to actively go out and apply yourself.
Like pizza's like that.
Don't listen to Auntie Amy, children.
Pizza's way better when it just comes to me.
Yeah, of course. But I had to look for a word, and I found one.
Okay.
Completely by accident. It came from my very own mouth, and okay. I was in a slightly grown-up situation that I was feeling extremely unsafe, like what's the word I'm trying to find? Oh my God, insecure about. Thank you. Come on, the brain. I was feeling a little bit insecure about my ability to pretend that I was one of these people. Right. It was a business networking event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, let's say no more about that because that's as much time as I want to spend thinking about it, basically.
Yeah.
However, I had been to the thing and there had been a speaker, and the speaker was good and I enjoyed the speaker. And then right after the speaker, there was food. So I joined the queue for the food and I was by myself. So I'd been sitting at a table with some other people during the speaker and they were nice, but I was also like, let's get fed. So I joined the queue and I found myself standing behind two gentlemen who made conversation with me, as I believe is the expectation at these things.
Right.
And one of them said, "Did you enjoy the speaker?" And I said I did. It was particularly salient for my experiences, my working experience at the point. And almost as soon as I said that it was salient, I found myself wondering, it was the old Princess Bride situation. I do not think that word means what you think it means.
Right, yeah.
And then I sort of went, no, I think because what I actually meant in that moment was, it was appropriate, it was topical, it fit the situation that I'm in.
Okay.
And that is generally how I would define the word salient.
Yeah, me too.
But for some reason, that little moment of insecurity, when I was trying to find words, I remembered that one. And I thought, I wonder what the etymology of salient is, this word that I feel very clever using, but then immediately feel a little bit less clever because actually I'm not sure if it means what I think it means.
Yeah.
So I went and looked it up, and lo, I discovered that salient does not mean what I thought it means.
Really?
I mean, it gets its way around to having been correct within that context.
Right.
But I really love its etymology. And I'll warn you now, a bit like myself, it's not fancy, but I found it really, am I allowed to say I found it really delightful when I've just said a bit like myself? Well, I just did.
Yeah, but here we are.
So off I went to the OED. Do you know, it's been such a long time since I've been on the OED's proper signed-in access website.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, we had that experience where it changed and we didn't like it, maybe because we're old, but also because it changed lots and it was suddenly quite hard to use. And these days I'm like, old friend, it's good to see you again.
Right, yeah, of course.
And interestingly, what I found with the word salient is that the first, if you're not familiar with the way that the OED online access looks, it gives you numbered incidences of different meanings of the same word in the case where a word has more than one use or application. And almost always, I don't know, maybe you'll argue with me here, but almost always the first one is the oldest.
Yes.
But in this case, that's not actually true. Because there's a very particular context in which this word is used that is immediately old as dirt. And I was genuinely quite confused because I looked this up on Etymonline too, and Etymonline said that the word was originally, that the oldest use was from the 1560s.
Okay.
And then I went to the OED and the first use was not from the 1560s, and I thought, oh, I'm going to call bullshit. And then I, got back in my cage and did some more actual reading of all the words,
Right.
and found that the oldest citation in the OED is indeed from 1562. And it's one of these fun little dudes. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He beareth argent, a lion salient. This lifteth up his right paw to the right corner of the escutcheon, and the rampant lifteth up his left paw to the same corner.
Huh. Okay. So is it specifically like as a descriptor that needs a noun tied to it, like in the earliest usage? This lion salient,
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, and again, it's one of these. The adjective is older than the noun. But an argent lion salient on an escutcheon is, we're in the crazy, crazy world of heraldry. Now,
Yeah,
I don't know
love,
what you know about heraldry. Mainly what I know is they have lots of really cool words, and I don't know what most of them mean.
They do have a lot of cool words.
And salient, it turns out, is one of these cool words. And here's the definition when it's used in heraldry.
Okay.
Having the hind legs in the sinister base and the forepaws elevated near together in the dexter chief, as if in the act of leaping. Now, this basically means that the legs are at the left-hand side and the paws are at the right-hand side at the top. So if you think about a kind of a diagonally placed animal with four legs, but the really interesting, in fact, the salient point of that description is as if in the act of leaping. Because sense 1A is leaping, jumping, especially of animals.
What?
Saltatorial.
Saltatorial is also very cool.
It's a good word, yeah. And saltant, the adjective, is a word that means it says apparently for dancing. I like that.
Oh, apparently.
Apparently. Yeah, so saltant is a rare or obsolete adjective. The earliest usage is given from 1601, and it means leaping, jumping, or dancing.
Okay.
And it's related to salient. And the earliest citation given of that first usage, leaping or jumping, is from 1646, and salient animals and such as move by leaping. And yeah, so there are fish called the salient mackerel, the salient blenny. We've got salient moving by leaps as frogs do. And then the next sense, 1B, is of water, so water that leaps upwards when it's sort of spraying out. And then from that, we get of the pulse, beating strongly or poetic. And there's only one citation for that from 1791. The salient pulse of health gives o'er. However, interestingly, there are other usages where the salient point or just the salient is actually used to describe the heart. So we've got in sense 3a, salient point. Punctum saliens, a little speck or cloud that appears in a brood egg and seems to leap before the chicken begins to be hatched. In other words, the heart of the embryo that you can see moving. So it represents the heart and the egg leaping and moving as if alive. And it says in old medical use, the heart as it first appears in an embryo, which is quite lovely, I think.
Yeah.
So we have animals that leap, water that leaps. We've got the heraldic sense of the leaping animals on the shield or escutcheon, and we've got the salient point. Then we've got of an angle, so we have mathematical senses. I do love a mathematical definition from 1687. Pointing outwards as an ordinary angle of a polygon opposed to re-entrant, chiefly in fortification. So, quote, formed by two lines of works meeting and pointing towards the country, i.e. away from the centre of fortification.
Oh.
And then we have, now this is one that I was also kind of aware of. If you'd asked me for a second meaning of the word salient, I would have referred you to the novel Private Peaceful. Do you know the novel Private Peaceful? It's a young adult, a young person's book by Michael Morpurgo, who is an English author who has written some absolutely wonderful books. And Private Peaceful is about a soldier in World War I. And he is unfortunate enough to be stationed to the Ypres salient.
Oh.
And so we get to the noun eventually, and the Ypres salient is, and this is given as sense 2a in the OED, a narrow projection or spur of land extending from a larger feature. A spur-like area of land, especially one held by a line of offence or defence, as in trench warfare. Frequently with the and capital initial, as in that at Ypres in western Belgium, the scene of severe fighting in the war of 1914 to 18. Now, the Ypres salient, one of the citations is Poperinghe was the railhead for that essentially English battlefield, the Ypres salient. And when they first started talking about this, I should point out, I read this book because I was teaching it. And I was reading it with kids who were about 13, 14 years old. Mm-hmm. And when the salient was referred to, they'd say, what does that mean? And I didn't know. So I looked it up along with them. And I discovered that a salient is, if you imagine that a line has been drawn, this mm-hmm. side's our side and the other side's the enemy's side. A salient is a bulge in that line. And if you've got a straight line between you and the enemy, then you're defending one single side, one aspect of defence.
Right.
However, as soon as you protrude out into the enemy's territory, as a salient does, what happens?
You're nigh surrounded.
Absolutely, positively surrounded. And World War I, which was a stunningly unsuccessful military strategic situation. And I mean, I'm not a historian and I would be floundering to give you details, but my general understanding, I mean, Ypres is a really great example. Stunning loss of life.
Oh, yeah.
For very, very little in the way of military gains, strategic gains.
Yeah.
Any kind of gains, really.
Yeah. There were no gains to be had.
Yeah, so okay guys, we have the straight line that we're defending. The trenches are absolutely miserable and the rats are literally eating the soap that we don't have water to use. But you know what we should do? We should press on out where they're surrounding us on three sides. And indeed, the salient, the military salient, is something that sticks out. It leaps to your attention.
Right, yeah.
And,
leaping away from whatever the other main body Yeah.
So whether it's a projection of land, a spur, or whether it is a foolish battle line, or whether it is an angle pointing outwards, these are all things which leap. And so I was like, okay, I can kind of see how that has come to mean that sort of slightly muddy, appropriate sense that I had in my head for the word salient. Because it's a thing that leaps out at you. And I guess it's that kind of Bader-Meinhof thing, that when you're aware of something, when something has leapt out, you are then kind of more aware of it, and it sort of seems like it is more appropriate and more kind of, it was supposed to be there. So I was very interested in finding out the meaning of this word to start with. And then Etymonline, good old Etymonline, said that etymologically speaking, this word comes from Latin salientem, which is the present participle of salire, which means to leap. And I got myself lucky here, Ryan, because oftentimes when you start to research a word, just, on the surface, etym-online, quick link, it says from a PIE root of uncertain form. And I thought, curses. So etym-online notes, it's the source also of the Sanskrit words sisarsi and sisrati, which means to flow, run or hurry. The Greek halesthai, to leap. The Middle Irish saltrim, which is I trample. And the Middle Welsh sathar, trample. And I'm like, okay, so there is a PIE root that, sometimes pie is as much about crumbs as it is about crust. And I was interested to see that there were so many crumbs of different types and kinds of languages, but that the PIE root itself was not defined in etym-online. So I decided to dig a little bit further, and off I went to, it's been such a long time.
Here we go.
University of Texas at Austin Linguistics Research Center, Indo-European Lexicon of PIE, etymon, and IE reflexes.
Oh boy, so good.
and discovered that it's there, that PIE root that isn't defined. So I went fishing for PIE and I found some. And it's defined here, the root is given as in Pokorny's etymon, sel, S-E-L, and it's defined as to jump, leap, spring or exult, to leap or to jump. And it gives this sort of sense of joyful leaping, which is quite lovely.
That is lovely.
And as well as those lovely examples from other languages, we've got lots of cognates in English, and I was just really, really delighted to find that after unexpectedly finding that the word salient means leaping, that of course salient and salmon are cognates.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? Because what does salmon do? They leap, of course. And they're called salmon because they leap.
Because they leap.
Quite simply.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I was really excited by that for those little geeky reasons that keep us doing the things that we do. And then the other cognates, I just kept making those satisfied noises. So to assail is to leap at someone, to attack violently with words or blows. To assault is once again to leap upon someone and physically attack them. Desultory is without a plan, as in you leapt, but you're not really sure where you're going to land.
Got it.
We have desilient, which means to burst open or to fly asunder.
Oh.
And then we have, and I like this because you can't see the root, but you can hear it, exult, to leap for joy.
That's very cool.
We've then got, this one's cool, halter, the context here being a club-shaped organ in dipterous insects. Now, I'm not an entomologist. I'm attempting to be an etymologist. I really hope that this organ, the halter, has something to do with leaping, so that I can make joyful etymological and entomological noises at the same time. We've then got insult, which is to leap upon someone with harsh words.
Cool.
We've got result, to end or to terminate, as an effect or consequence or conclusion.
Okay.
We also have salacious, an entirely different kind of leaping on someone. And sally, as in to sally forth, to leap or rush or burst out. Then we have salmon. I've
always low-key wondered what sally forth, like not enough to actually look it up, but that's one of those things when it's like, yeah, that has never made sense to me. But now it does. Great.
Now it does. This one I enjoyed too. Saute. As in leaping food.
Because they're jumping around because it's hot in the pan.
Yeah. And the lovely, lovely somersault. Now, I was curious about the word somersault. As a kid, I always remember vaguely thinking that somersaulting was in some way to do with the summer, as in the season. And I don't know at what point I kind of realised that wasn't the case. But a somersault is a leap or spring in which a person turns heels overhead in the air and alights on his or her feet. Especially such a feat is performed by acrobats or tumblers. Hence, a turning over in this fashion, a complete overturn or upset. And it's a borrowing from French. The French is given as sombresaut or sobresaut. Sobre with S-O-B-R-E.
Okay.
And it's the etymology for the French word is given as sobresaut, from Provençal sobresaut, from Spanish sobresalto, which is from Latin supra, above, plus saltus, to leap.
Oh.
So a somersault is a leaping above.
Interesting. That's cool.
So
okay.
yeah, that was a cool little unexpected SEL word.
Yeah.
And I checked out the American Heritage Dictionary to see what they had going on, to see if that pirate existed there too. And it does. They gloss it as to jump. And they have also salacious, salient, sally, salto, saute, insult, etc. This is probably Latin salmo, borrowed from Gaulish, so perhaps a slightly different Latin etymology going on, but also draws the point that this is where we get the word salmon from. So while I immediately leaped to the conclusion that I was using the word incorrectly, I wasn't a million miles away, certainly no more than a hop, skip and jump away.
I like that. I'm wondering if, like, is there a sense of, there's two things. One, when you talked about saltant, I was briefly excited for the possibility of / hoping for this to be one of those, like, things where just like a typo, a monastic typo meant the spelling change. Like, they wrote saltant. I don't know how it's spelled, but if it's spelled SALTENT and the T just kind of got smudged a little bit, and then the next scribe was just like, that looks like an I. It's salient now. And that's how that happened. Because I love when those little weirdsies happen. Did it become, because I definitely have not thought of it as a leaping or jumping or anything like that. I would have thought exactly the same as you had thought originally. Does it come from the salient point? Like, is that where we get? Is it sort of
the salient point
by
is
analogy
the part that leaps out at you?
Right. I was wondering if it's like something to do with the heart, because it's like at the core of something, like something that's intrinsic to a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know what I
just had a look at the forums within the OED entry, and we've got 1500 salient, A-U-N-T-E, silent, S-A-L-L-I-A-N-T, salient with an A instead of an E, and salant. But I'm afraid it doesn't seem to be a monastic typo in terms of
that's too bad.
including the L versus the T. I guess saltant is perhaps more likely to be the variation. I'm not sure.
Interesting. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And also, what a list of cognates. That's very neat as well.
Yeah.
Salmon, sally forth, somersault, salient. Tremendous.
I was also curious about whether or not saline was in some way related.
Yes,
but
I was wondering about that, actually.
There is a completely different pirate for salt, which I was rather pleased to discover. What do you think the pirate that gives us the word salt might mean?
Oh, something to do with the ocean?
It means salt.
Oh.
Because salt is as old as dirt.
Because salt is, right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Salt, but also used for the sea. So, it gives us all those kind of salty cognate words. But there is no, there's no
it's just
direct or obvious
what
link
it
between
is.
Leaping and salt.
Okay.
I guess you could get metaphorical about leaping waves, and we had that sense of salient as in leaping water, but etymologically that doesn't seem to be a thing.
Doesn't do a thing. Interesting. Very cool.
So, Salient.
Neat. I was also...
And we're back.
And we're back. Boom! I was also looking around for a word because I hadn't had one to sort of land on me, as we talked about. So I have a relatively straightforward one, but the world, as you know, is horrible. And so...
Oh, dude.
What better time than now to look at a kaleidoscope? And so that's the word I looked up.
Interesting.
And it has a Scottish connection because it was invented in Scotland by a Scotsman.
I did not know that, but I am not surprised.
So just to the OED definition of it is an optical instrument consisting of from 2 to 4 reflecting surfaces placed in a tube, at one end of which is a small compartment containing pieces of colored glass. On looking through the tube, numerous reflections of these are seen, producing brightly colored symmetrical figures, which may be constantly altered by rotation of the instrument. And kaleidoscopes are great. They're fun. They're just nice. This was the invention of Dr. David Brewster, who was a Scottish scientist and inventor, and he did a lot of work. He seems like an interesting guy because we're in early 1800s is where we are chronologically here.
I sort of assumed we were around about that time.
Yeah. So it's interesting because a lot of people in kind of the pantheon of physicists and early, 17th, 18th, 19th century scientists, they kind of divide into two camps, and one of them is your mathematicians and the people who work out the theory of things and have all the formulas it's a lot of theoretical brain work to prove various phenomena or explain various phenomena, etc. Right? Dr. Brewster was not one of those. He was it was all about experimentation. So
was he the kind of dude that just randomly blew shit up to see what happened?
I think so. I think he sort of was like he didn't seem to do a lot of stuff with explosives, but if he had, that kind of guy, I think. Like,
let's face it, Ryan, we're all extremely glad of the benefits of the people who figure out why the things happen.
Yes.
But also, we know which ones are like the rock stars. Now, that doesn't make them better or it's not more valid. It's just different.
Flashier. Yeah.
But also, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. So I
just pissed off so many scientists all in one go.
So many.
But then also, if you're a theoretical scientist of any kind, I'm just going to put it out there, like, why not try blowing something up? You might enjoy it.
Yeah, you probably will. You never know.
Sorry.
Just try it.
Do continue.
A lot of his stuff is with light, which is unsurprising, given that he invented the kaleidoscope. So he did a lot of work with light reflection and polarization. There is an angle called Brewster's angle, which has to do with establishing the correct angle of polarization of light. And so I went down a whole rabbit hole for that because of my interest in photography and polarizing lenses and all that stuff. But he did a lot of very important and well-recognized work on that side of things. He improved the stereoscope, like a device for looking at making things look 3D, basically.
Oh, okay, cool.
But using, the two slightly offset images and stuff.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
To make it look 3D. So he did that, which was great. He was also a licensed Church of Scotland minister who worked as a clergyman prior to moving into a career in sciences. He went to university at age 12, as one does, to do this. And from the... I hesitate to put too much emphasis on that stage of his career, because I got this note from the Brewster Kaleidoscope Society, which just sounds like a delightful place to be.
This is entirely delightful.
The website says, of Brewster's brief pulpit episode. Brief pulpit episode is a tremendous way to describe someone's career as a clergyman, by the way.
I mean, I'd go and see that band.
Yeah. James Hogg, a colleague, wrote in a letter to publisher James Fraser, quote, he was licensed, but the first day he mounted the pulpit was the last, for he had then, if he has not still, a nervous something about him that made him swither when he heard his own voice and saw a congregation eyeing him. So he stacked his discourse and vowed never to try that job again. It was a pity for Kirk, but it was a good day for science. For if the doctor had gotten a manse, he might most likely have taken to his toddy like other folk. I don't know what half that last bit means, but I love it.
I mean, do you know who James Hogg is? Have you heard of Hogg?
The name rang some very distant bells, but I don't know.
Yeah, novelist, writer, general intellectual. His most famous work is called The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner, which I looked up. It wasn't in my head. 1824 it was published.
Oh, okay.
And The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner is a wonderful book, and it's often read alongside or compared to Jekyll and Hyde. It's often seen as a kind of a forerunner to the notion of the dual nature of humanity, morality, and religion. It's a great book.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. No, it's interesting.
But yeah, also, what a review.
Right? Yeah.
Well, he tried it. He gave it one go. Let's all just leave it there. It was for the best.
Good for us. It all worked out. Excellent. So he, it's interesting to look at the trail of citations, because as we know, most of the time when we're doing this stuff, it gets quite muddy quite quickly. And there's only so much you can actually glean from, say, the order of appearance in terms of was the verb nouned or was the noun verbed, etc., like which came first type of thing. And it's very muddy. In this case, this was an invention, and so it has a very concrete beginning.
Fabulous.
And it is interesting to look at how these first citations kind of demonstrate that just how viral this toy was, to use an anachronism. So the first citation is from his patent application in 1817. That's the earliest citation, because he made up the name for this thing and tried to get a patent for it. Side note, his patent escapade was about as successful as his preaching career. He made very little money off the Kaleidoscope, despite the fact that it sold like hundreds of thousands of units, I guess.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a snafu with one of the manufacturers, and before it was patented, they were trying to get somebody to manufacture it, and he just somebody on his behalf showed the design to this person. It was like, I'll just take that, thank you. And they just went and made them. So he did get the patent, but it didn't really work out for him. Anyway, he contributed this thing. He didn't make a ton of money off it. Other people made tons of money off of it, but the world is a prettier place now, so that's good. But it went like crazy, again, viral, quote unquote. The first citation is 1817. The second one is in 1818, and it is a letter from John Murray to Lord Byron, where he writes, I send you a very well-constructed kaleidoscope, a newly invented toy, which, if not yet seen in Venice, will, I trust, amuse some of your female friends. Now, the OED citation, the OED quote, ends after a newly invented toy. Okay. So in the OED, it just says, I send you a very well-constructed kaleidoscope, a newly invented toy, period. That's the OED. Because I'm a nerd, I went to try to see if I could find this letter, which I did, and saw that full quote, which does prove the long-standing tradition was maybe even longer than we thought, of like a new awesome thing gets invented and immediately dudes are falling all over themselves to try to pretend like they're too cool for it. And they're too manly. Like, check out this thing. It's for your lady friends. But I'm sending it to you in a personal letter from me to you. But trust me, it's just for the ladies. But not that we would ever. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, man.
So, they're so lame. So that's 1818. So invented.
Was there like an Android kaleidoscope and an Apple kaleidoscope?
Yeah, just different operating systems.
I've seen those kaleidoscopes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're okay.
I like them.
I find the user
these ones
interface
better.
on my kaleidoscope is so much easier.
Divided into tribalist sects based on the number of 2 to 4 reflecting surfaces placed in a tube. Oh, you're a 3-mirror kaleidoscope, man. I see. That explains so much.
Not better, just different.
Just different. I just think it's cute. That's all. Yeah. So, 1817, 1818, 1819, Lord Byron has the next quote, which is the first quote in the OED's list of sort of metaphorical extended use of the word.
Okay.
So, again, the OED quote in isolation is, "This rainbow looked like hope, quite a celestial kaleidoscope," which is a nice little line. Yeah, it's actually from Don Juan, one of the cantos in Don Juan. The full kind of canto is, "Our shipwrecked seamen thought it a good omen. It is as well to think so now and then. 'Twas an old custom of the Greek and Roman, and may become of great advantage when folks are discouraged, and most surely no men had greater need to nerve themselves again than these. And so this rainbow looked like hope, quite a celestial kaleidoscope." So it's just, I liked that stepping, like, invented 1817, the very next year, Lord Byron receives one in the mail. And the next year it's like, this has already become for him this sort of touchstone of how to describe other things, like,
yeah.
And you could just trace it, you just follow the bouncing ball and get right to that, which I thought was kind of cool. And also very fast, like within 2 years.
Yeah, I'm often curious about this because, we see it over and over and over again. The noun usually comes first, not in the case of Salient, but, the noun usually comes first.
Yeah.
The adjective exists because the noun exists, and that makes sense.
Right.
And very, very quickly, the concrete meaning is given an abstract or a metaphorical shade.
Yes.
And usage. But yeah, it is. I'm always curious about how quickly does that happen, or is it something that inherently we just do? There's no office of figurative language, unfortunately. God,
No.
I could work there.
That'd be great.
That decrees that it's now time for this thing to be used metaphorically. Yeah. But yeah, it's quite a lovely thought to. There's something about us that just needs metaphors.
Yes, and it's a thing that lends itself quite nicely to metaphor. So the etymology of this thing, the way that he constructed the word for his newly invented toy, is sort of 3 parts. So the first part, the kal bit, is from the Greek kalos,
which means light,
which means beauty.
Related to Callisto. Yes.
Yeah. So the Callisto was a nymph in Greek mythology whose name was basically just the superlative form of Kalos. Like, the name was literally just the most beautiful. So the K part comes from Kalos beauty. The id, the EID, is a variant of the OID ending, meaning shape or form. So, like, we get words like asteroid, android, nice. Alkaloid, factoid, these things that have the shape or form of another thing.
That's super cool.
And then scope, based on, like, sort of telescope, like from scopos, the Greek word to look or see. So literally it just means looking at pretty things or observing.
I love it.
A thing to observe beauty.
That's such a kimbap, and I approve.
Yeah, it's such a perfect. I don't know. It's a perfect compound for me because it is also, there's something so. What am I trying to say? It's appropriate that I can't figure out how to put this into words properly, but it's when you look through a kaleidoscope, you're not looking at anything really abstract because there's too much going on to look at any single thing. It's like it literally is just a tool to look at, if not a almost platonic ideal of prettiness or beauty. Like you're observing something, you're observing the abstract concept of beauty through this little cardboard tube, which is wild.
And it is. I remember getting one as a kid and being fascinated. I can actually picture what I was fascinated by was how bright the colours looked.
Yeah.
There was just something particularly luminous about the way that it appeared. And I, when you were saying earlier about one of the sort of 2 to 4, I'm pretty sure my kaleidoscope was hexagonal. And
right.
And yeah, I whiled away probably more time than most kids would do looking into a kaleidoscope. And it's unbelievably efficient at making you forget what you're looking at.
Yes.
You intellectually know that you're looking at a handful of confetti, but suddenly it's like, woo,
Yeah. It takes on this wildly expansive property to the little glass balls,
Yeah, even though we have the ability, with sort of digital art and digital effects, we have the ability to create anything we want to. And yet, like, what I'm thinking about is the Marvel films, the Doctor Strange films. There's always kaleidoscopic imagery within the kind of alternative universe, or the idea of bending reality.
Yeah.
That sort of, the shapes and the patterns persist. Even though we could make whole new shapes and patterns, there's something particularly about those things that it kind of retains that idea that when you look in it's a cardboard tube, and yet there's so much more in there than you would expect it.
Absolutely, yeah,
It's like it's from another universe.
It's a portal of sorts.
Yeah.
So and that scopos, just to wrap it up with a little slice of pie, is from a pie root spec, which means to observe, and that's where we get words like perspective, expectation, suspicious, spy, that kind of thing.
Nice.
And for anyone who, another reason that I think this came out to me is if you're familiar at all with the band OK Go. They are
the ones that do the videos.
They are the ones who have mastered the art of the music video. Like I'm repeatedly and continuously in awe of their both ambition and then somehow their ability to pull it off. Because nothing, like, they were the ones that the first introduction of them to the world was very early days of YouTube, when they had the music video it was just the 4 of them on just 8 treadmills.
Yeah.
And doing this like weird choreographed, weirdly impressive choreography.
I will say I don't think I've ever actually heard any of their songs. I've only ever watched their videos. Yeah,
and a lot of people are like that. I did listen to their last album from last year, and it is quite nice. It's quite good. I like them, but primarily the videos are such a visual feast.
Yeah.
All the time, but they have the video they did for their single off of their album that came out last year. They're filming in a Bulgarian, I think it's in Bulgaria. This very sort of slightly not deconstructed, but dilapidated, but incredibly beautiful Bulgarian like train station or something.
Oh,
and they have, I
don't think I've seen this.
A whole, you have to look it up. I'll send the link to you. Everyone else, I'll put the link in the show notes to the video because it's unbelievable. But they use robots of various sizes holding mirrors of various sizes and shapes to accomplish the various effects in this video. And they're all practical effects because they're all done with these giant swinging robot arms with mirrors on them. But they, and because they're doing this with mirrors, obviously they're doing a lot of these kaleidoscopic effects, but it has the same, it works the same way as what you're saying. Like you don't think you're looking at little bits of glass or plastic, and it's the same way. They're using these very simple, like pool noodles and umbrellas, but as soon as these things lock into place, it's like your eyes can't even really take it all in. Like it's very, very, very good. It's an incredible bit of music video-ness.
Ryan, I'm going to tell you something now about YouTube that's probably going to make you laugh at me a whole lot.
Okay.
Because I so
oh, I'm excited.
I always think that it's important to preface this with, like, I work in digital marketing. That's my day job. Okay.
Okay.
And I spend quite a lot of time making, featuring in writing, planning, editing, video content. You know, that's one of the things that is part of my day job.
Right.
And I discovered recently that on YouTube, YouTube has been transformed for me. Now, this has happened for a couple of reasons. First of all, I no longer use Meta products. So I'm not on Facebook, and I'm not on Instagram.
Right.
And so social media wise, I'm kind of out of things these days. And that means that I see a lot less video content than I ever did. Which means that, you know, it's not like Google is the great good and Meta are the great evil, but you know what I'm saying. So
yes.
Just purely because it used to be a thing that I would see quite a lot of. I'm like, oh, well, I can watch a little video on YouTube, that's fine. However, I hate video content, man. I hate it. Almost all of it is a waste of fucking time.
Right.
Right? And the stuff that really, really annoys me is the stuff where a person tells you shit.
Okay.
Because I could have read that faster than it takes you to tell me it.
Right.
And when a person makes, and I count myself in this, you know, as I say, I make videos too. When a person makes a video that consists of nothing more than them telling you the information that they think you should know, that video has been made for that person's convenience. It has not been made for your convenience, the watcher, the you know, the audience, whatever kind of audience you are. It has been made for their convenience. Because I remember learning this on like the first day of teacher training and then laughing my ass off because this is how they instructed us for the whole rest of the course. Lecture is the least efficient way to convey information.
Right. Yeah.
It's, you know, very well researched, obvious. I think pretty straightforward to anybody who's ever been a student and had to listen to lectures. You know, most people learn better with some sort of practical input. They learn by doing, they learn by discussing, you know, all these different things. But lectures are very convenient for the person giving the lecture. And I think most YouTube videos are pretty convenient for the person making the YouTube video. Anyway, what I've discovered is that almost every YouTube video has a transcript these days. So I've been reading YouTube. because A, it's faster, B, it's significantly less annoying, and C,
tremendous.
It doesn't stop when the adverts pop up.
I keep forgetting that YouTube has ads. And
do
then
you pay to not have ads? Or
I
do you just,
do not.
I just keep forgetting because you're from the past where it didn't have ads?
I just have other technical workarounds on most of my devices. And then I go use YouTube on another device and I'm like, what is this nonsense?
I'm imagining you like digitally winking at me there. Heavy wink.
Yeah. But it's, yeah. I think I do know that about you and your I don't know, what, anticlivity? It's the opposite of proclivity. Anticlivity?
I guess it is now. You just made it
your
so.
anticlivity towards video as a medium.
Well, I don't object to film. I don't object to visual storytelling.
Right.
I just think that the vast majority of video content isn't that.
Right. I think you just, I think you would,
Most of it's
things
a
that
person talking.
you would very much like. It would just have to be a curated list. I can't stand when I'm looking to do something. I just need to know how to do a thing. That's when I join you in your boat, because I'm like, just write it out for me, step-by-step instructions. I don't want to watch a video about it, but you want to watch this video, I promise. And I'll send it to you, and it'll be in the show notes as well. But yeah.
Cool.
What a salient kaleidoscope.
Salient kaleidoscope. A pretty light looking at thing that sticks out a bit.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Leaps out at you.
We're so back.
And that's it for another episode of Lexitecture. To get in touch with us about something you heard this episode, you can email us at words@lexitecture.com. You can also follow along and talk to us at Lexitecture on Facebook and Twitter, and at Lexitecture Podcast on Instagram. For back episodes and the occasional blog post, visit us at Lexitecture.com. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.